Welcome back to Review Recapped. Today we will be showing you an Indian super thriller movie, named Andhadhun. Spoilers ahead, sit back and enjoy. The movie begins with a farmer, who is seen hunting an annoying partially sighted hare in a cabbage field beside a highway. The hare runs away and hides behind a milestone on the highway. The farmer spots it and aims to shoot with his gun. This is the beginning of the movie. Next we see a talented but seemingly blind pianist Akash, attempting to complete a musical piece and in search of a perfect tune. He is also accompanied by a black and white cat. After some time, we see him going down the stairs with a stick. His neighbor, a small boy, keeps pranking him by putting a string on his weight just to check if he is truly blind or not. Akash trips down and falls to the ground, scolding and warning him not to do that again. Later we see a former Bollywood star Anil Pramod, entering his house carrying a crab in a bucket. We see his wife Simi, preparing food in the kitchen, while Pramod is seen recording her video on his phone. We later get to know that the couple is married for 3 years and the wife is desperate to work in films. The same day, Akash is knocked over while crossing the road by Sophie, whose father owns a diner. Sophie offers him job as a pianist at her father's restaurant. She takes him to the restaurant to meet his father. After some time she drops Akash to his place on a scooty. Here we get to know about his secret. He quickly goes upstairs in his room, removes lens from his eyes and enjoys watching Simi passing by from the window. At the same time, we see the small kid spying on him from downstairs. Later in the evening, at the restaurant everyone, including Anil Parmad, is seen enjoying Akash's musical performance. After some time Sophie drops him back to his flat. While going up the stairs Akash's glasses drop off, so he quickly picks them and goes to his room. At the same time the small kid is seen hiding and spying on him again. The next night at the restaurant, Anil invites Akash over to his apartment for a private performance for himself and his wife, for their anniversary. He also gives him cash in advance and goes back to his apartment. At night time, Anil and Simi are both seen relaxing watching his old film, where Simi reminds him of their anniversary thinking he forgot. Anil tells her that he will be going out of town for some important work and will be back later in evening. The next afternoon, when Akash reaches Pramod's flat, Simi opens the door and is reluctant to let him in, saying that her husband is not home and he can come tomorrow to meet him. Akash tells her that he got advance payment for the private performance by Anil, for their anniversary. At the same time one of the neighbors is seen spying on them, so Simi quickly lets him inside. As he is settling in, Simi pretends to call Parmad in front of him and says he will be there in 10 minutes. By that time she is convinced that he is totally blind and she asks him to play something. As soon as Akash begins to play, he immediately notices someone's body lying on the floor with blood. However, he ignores and continues to play the piano to maintain his charade of blindness. Akash then excuses himself and goes to the bathroom. As he enters the bathroom, there is another man Manar hiding with a gun, but Akash acts very normal as if he is unaware of him, since he is assumed to be blind. On his return to the piano, he identifies the body as that of Pramod. Simi and Manohar clean the body up silently and stuff it in a suitcase to be disposed of, while Akash is seen playing the piano, supposedly unaware. In a flashback, it is revealed that Pramod, who had earlier lied to his wife about going out of town, in reality had gone to bring anniversary gifts to surprise Simi. On entering the house with gifts, he sees a gun on the table and next he catches Simi making out with his lover Manohar. Afterwards, Akash goes to the police station. As soon as he utters the word murder, he sees Manohar there and shuts his mouth. He discovers that Manohar is the senior inspector there. Akash gets confused on seeing him and lies about the murder of his cat. Manohar gets suspicious about him and thinks he might not be blind. So in order to confirm this, he goes to Akash's place to inquire about his blindness and also his cat. Later we see reporters reporting about Parmad's death on the social media and news channels. At the funeral the next day, we see that the old lady, who happens to be Simi's neighbor, tells the police officer that she had witnessed some activities that day. Simi plans to kill the neighbor who had noticed Manohar's entry into the flat. Next we see Akash reaches Simi's place to give piano lessons to Danny. As soon as Akash gets to the door, he sees Simi pushing the old lady off from the balcony. Once again he is forced to continue his charade of being unaware of either of the murders. After that incident Akash returns to his place. The small kid acts very smartly this time. He somehow manages to record a video of Akash to prove that he is not blind. Later Simi shows up at Akash's place, gives him some sweet and asks for coffee. She pours poison in his coffee in front of him to see if he has it or not. Akash purposely drops the cup and Simi immediately takes out gun from her bag and threatens to kill him. We see Akash cracking up about his fake blindness. assuring her that he won't tell anything to anyone and that his only aim is to leave for London. However, he begins to choke, realizing that a sweet that Simi had given him earlier was poisoned, and he collapses. After some time, Sophie comes by and sees that the neighbor child had recorded a video of Akash moving about like a normal person. Furious, Sophie knocks at Akash's door, and to her surprise she sees Simi there. Thinking they both have an affair, she gets heartbroken and leaves him. When Akash wakes up, he realizes that he actually cannot see, fervently washes his eyes. He realizes he has been blinded by Simi. She tells him to focus only on his music and that no one would believe his story of the 2 murders since he was a blind man. After a discussion with Manohar, they decide that blinding Akash would not be enough, as he could still reveal details. Manohar goes to Akash's place to kill him. After a tense struggle, Akash escapes out to the road and faints. He is seen waking up in a shady clinic. Dr. Swami and his 2 assistants plan to sell his kidneys and get money. Later on, we see Akash traps them by saying he can get them more money if they kidnap Simi. So they manage to kidnap her. On the other side, Akash informs Manohar's wife about their affair and blackmail Manohar into bringing 1 crore rupees to a specified location. At this point, several twists come about. The assistants tie Akash up with Simi to claim all of the money for themselves. They then get the money from Manohar, who shoots one of them but gets trapped in an elevator by the other. Manohar then ends up accidentally shooting himself. The money they got from Manohar is eventually revealed to be fake money. Meanwhile, on the other side, desperate Akash removes Simi's blindfold and thinks she would guide him on how to escape, but Simi frees herself and attacks him. Dr. Swami enters and they both tie Simi in the trunk of a car and begin driving. Dr. Swami reveals his plans to get Simi's organs for 6 crore rupees and pay for Akash's cornea transplant, but Akash is not happy to hear his plan. 2 years later, in Europe, traveling Sophie meets Akash, still apparently blind with dark glasses, at one of his gigs in Europe, where he tells her the entire story. Akash then continues with his story, that while Dr. Swami was with him in the car, he stopped to make Simi unconscious again, but as he goes to the trunk, he is swiftly overpowered by Simi. Simi then takes control of the car. Akash, thinking that it is still Dr. Swami at the driving seat, continues to convince him to let him and Simi go. Hearing this, Simi drops Akash off and drives away, but changes her mind and turns around, intending to run him over. At this point, the hair from the beginning of the movie slams into her windshield, causing her to lose control and crash. The car explodes, killing Simi with it. Sophie hears the entire story and sympathizes with him. She tells Akash that he should have taken Simi's organs and gotten his sight back. The movie ends showing Akash leaving with the help of his stick, which has a rabbit carved on its handle. Once out of sight, he uses the stick to smartly hit Akan out of his path. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and turn on notification to help us grow.